Greetings to the Starseed Collective, the Conscious Collective community. I am grateful to be here once again with you to share a transit. Today we're talking about the full moon in Gemini. Now, this is a special meaning to me. This transit is a special meaning to me because my planetary sign is Gemini, but I am a blue ray star seed. So I do have characteristics and traits of that blue ray star seed energy that I more align with, but my planetary sign is Gemini. And so as I study star seeds and the energy around this soul consciousness, I have this opportunity to learn more and more of how this helps us navigate our life plane here. And so this information I'm sharing, those that are getting it and understand how it works in their development, how it works and how they navigate, how they move. I mean, it's complicated on one level. There's a lot to know about it. And then on another level, it aids you in your spiritual growth and your spiritual development to that journey back to oneness, which is the ultimate goal of us reconnecting. But we as humanity play a very special role in bringing all these different, I want to say, soul characteristics into one being and being able to be the bridge between them all. And that's what I'm coming to understand more and more about this starseed and lightworker journey. It's not just enough just to be one, because we have the unique opportunity to be more than just one that we align with. Because there's so much integration and intermingling, we have a lot of starseed types that we can use to kind of connect all the different factions of starseeds that are out there. Some say there's 19, some say there's 21, but being in this human matrix, we can be the framework to connect all the starseeds. So today we are going to be talking about that full moon in Gemini is the transit. And of course, we're going to be looking at the starseed traits and characteristics that are involved with this. One being the Arcturians. The Arcturian starseed, we're going to look at their traits and their characteristics and how that plays into this full moon in Gemini and how we can use that in our growth and development. So it's going to be really interesting. I get excited. I really do get excited during these transits. I don't know if everyone else catches the energy, but we are children of the stars. We are connected to the divine alignment. So we move accordingly if we understand. Everything is about out there, which is in here, the duality, but it's not about just going up through life, eating breakfast, going to a job, having relationship, children. That's not what it's all about. That stuff is temporary. That stuff is transit. What is permanent is your soul. And so when we look at how we should maneuver and how this works, we look at the different beings that have a place or some type of effect in how we maneuver. So that's why I get excited about the transits, and I am really grateful the opportunity to share those that it resonates with, to those in the conscious community who understand it. So like I said, we're going to be dealing with the Arcturian traits and characteristics in this full moon in Gemini, and we're also going to be looking at the tall whites. The tall whites generally get a bad rep because of the lack of melanation in their skin. But I did a video on that, and we're going to talk about it more, right? Most of the starseeds are melanated, except the tall whites and the grays, all right? But they operate from a different premise. The grays are very interesting, but the tall whites are almost like the moon, right? The moon is a reflector. So the tall whites, luminescent, that's how they come off. So what we perceive as white is actually being illuminated. And so they are a reflection of a lot of starseed types, but they reflect that energy. And so that's very interesting in their traits. And we're going to look at how that plays into that full moon cycle too, with the full moon in Gemini. I saw the full moon yesterday, and it was kind of cloudy here. It's cold and cloudy in Atlanta, but the full moon, I did see it peaking, not masked by the clouds, and it's that energy is always strong. You've heard me talk often about the moon being actually an artificial satellite. I like to cut to the quick and just say it's fake, but it's actually just an artificial satellite that is reflecting that raw energy and actually feeding our lower chakras, which is overstimulating them. And so that's why we have to be more cautious of how we handle that full moon energy. A lot of people are about moon worshiping, or they're engaged in the moon some kind of way, not really understanding that it really stimulates your lower chakras. And our goal is to move into our higher chakras. So we're looking at that and the full moon in Gemini. So let's get to it, and let's give a basic explanation of it, of what this energy is going to bring. The full moon in Gemini illuminates the mind, the voice, and the subtle communication channels that exist between the psychic and non-physical realms. Between the physical and non-physical realm. The Gemini governs language. Geminis, we are good communicators. All right. Information, duality, curiosity, and the pathways of thought. So your planetary sign does have an effect in how this full moon is going to, how you're going to be involved with this full moon. So under a full moon, these things expand, intensify, and review hidden or represent layers of truth. The lubrication activates your mental clarity, the sudden realizations you're going to receive as a Gemini in this full moon. Intuitive downloads are going to be very strong. You're going to get a lot of intuitive download and high communication with guides. You should be connecting more with your higher selves, be it your higher self, God, or ascended master, ancestor, however you perceive it. So many times we argue about what these other forces are, and that's not the point. It's how you receive it, what relates to you. And the same thing with a lot of spiritual belief that tend to move into this religion space where, say I believe something strongly and it works for me, I don't have a need to convince you of it. But that seems to be the whole purpose of religion, is just because it works for me, you got to be wrong. Well, that doesn't make it true. Just because it works for me doesn't have to be right for you. All right. So if we look at this full moon in Gemini, we're going to be looking at the resolution of misunderstandings and the insights into personal stories or identities. This full moon in Gemini is a mental awakening, but also a frequency shift, an opening of telepathy, symbols, and multidimensional communication. So that's the important part of this full moon and how it affects the Gemini, and how that characteristic trait is going to be strong in those with Gemini characteristics. Now, again, with all these zodiac signs and all these starseed signs, you have to understand, I may lean towards Gemini, but other people can have Gemini traits and characteristics too. All right, that is my sign, but that doesn't mean that I can't be a Taurus or have some of those traits too. All right, we're complicated individuals, and all this is a mesh of everything. All right, same way with our starseed signs, that is a mesh of various starseeds, and we want to look at the energy around them and then see how that works in our development. So we're going to look at Arcturian starseeds and the tall whites. So I did a video on the Arcturian starseeds, and I want to play that video so we have a better understanding of those traits and characteristics of the Arcturian starseeds.
Jumping into a concept from your sources that's really fascinating, the Arcturian Starseeds.
Right.
So, to get everyone on the same page, these are described as souls from Arcturus. And they're not just any souls. We're talking advanced frequency engineers, master teachers, architects of consciousness.
Yeah, and there's some interesting history there. Arcturus itself, the red giant in the Buddhist constellation, has been seen for a long time as more than just a star. It's considered a kind of stellar portal.
Portal, okay.
And this modern narrative, you can really trace a lot of it back to Edgar Cayce, who considered them one of the most, if not the most, spiritually advanced civilizations.
If you are not familiar with Edgar Cayce, please read his writings. They were very insightful on remote healing, and he was able to tap into a lot of energy that a lot of people kind of ignore. We all have this capability, but unless you really work, right, it can be very easily ignored. Just like breathing, oxygen can be a very powerful activator of a lot of things, but some people just breathe without realizing how valuable oxygen is. Same thing with your spiritual gifts and your spiritual powers. If you have them, but if you don't work, then they don't serve you as well.
Out there.
So they're not even physical in the way we think of it. The material says they exist as light in geometry in like higher dimensions.
Exactly. So our mission today, I think, is to explore what happens when these beings decide to, incarnate here on Earth. What do they look like? How do they act?
And the first thing that really jumps out is this strange mix of traits. They're described as both master logicians and, at the same time, deeply intuitive.
That synergy is everything. It's the key. On the logical side, they are pure systems thinkers.
What does that mean in practice?
It means they look at life and they see the underlying patterns, the structure. It's why so many are drawn to things like tech design, engineering, physics, even medical innovation.
They see the blueprint behind the chaos.
Yes. They're the person who looks at a totally inefficient system and just instinctively knows how to tear it down and rebuild it correctly.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Despite that intense analytical side, their intuition is described as incredibly clear and precise.
It's not a fuzzy feeling.
No, it's like data. The sources say they can interpret really complex symbolism, sacred geometry, and can even sense an energetic imbalance in a person or system before it breaks.
It's like a diagnostic tool. They can see the fault in the code before the program crashes.
So that kind of wiring, that must make it hard to live here.
That's their biggest identifier. A profound, powerful feeling of being out of place.
Right.
When you think about Earth, the emotional swings, the illogical systems, how slow things can be, for them, it just feels heavy, foreign. Wow. It's not in harmony with what they know.
So they feel like they don't fit in, but they have a purpose. There's a so what here. Even if they don't consciously know where they're from, there's this non-negotiable drive.
A drive for evolution and service. And that points to their mission. They act as bridges.
Bridges between what?
Between higher intelligence, cosmic blueprints, you could say, and our material world. They're here to translate those concepts into something we can actually use. Their role isn't to rescue humanity.
It's to guide, to give us the tool.
Exactly, to guide us so we can evolve ourselves. And that guidance is very practical. They're reformers.
Okay, so their mission isn't just spiritual talk.
Not at all. It's about redesigning things. They're here to restructure our foundational systems, health, education, tech, government. They challenge the stuff that's just not working anymore.
And the sources mention this idea of holding frequency.
That's a crucial point. It means they act as energetic anchors, especially during times of, collective chaos. They hold a frequency of clarity when everyone else is confused. They're a protective presence.
It sounds like they become leaders, but not because they're seeking power.
It happens naturally. It's through competence, vision, and this kind of unshakable inner authority. When the old way collapses, everyone just sort of turns to them to build the new one.
So they're the architects.
The architects of new paradigms. It's that blend, again, high-level systems thinking with a deep, deep drive for human evolution.
Is that Arcturian consciousness chooses to incarnate exclusively through melanated human lineages. In this universe, anyway.
Yeah, and what's key here is that this isn't about chance. It's a doctrine that's rooted in spirit.
All right, let's stop it right there, and let's talk a little bit more about the Arcturian energy under the full moon in Gemini. We won't get into the melanation part of it. What we really want to talk about is how these traits and characteristics are going to aid you in this energy transit that's happening now. All right. So when we look at the full moon in Gemini and Arcturian's experience with it, let me just bring this up really quickly. We're looking at the heightened telepathy clarity, the sudden comprehensions of complex systems that become very apparent in this energy with Arcturian energy. All right, we're talking about the transit energy and the Arcturian characteristic and traits. So let me be specific on that, right? We're talking about the activation of your psychic data streams that's currently taking place. You're getting visionary flashes regarding your future timeline. There are multiple timelines. We're multidimensional beings, and so there is parallel timeline. And so during this energy, you may get visionary flashes of those timelines. The strong impulse in reorganizing your life structure is taking effect. The surface of old memories, codes, or mathematical intuitions. This full moon stimulates the Arcturian triad. I think I'm saying that right. Triad. Mind, intuition, and pattern recognition. Right. I noticed that I have a lot of Arcturian energy in me because I'm able to recognize patterns quickly. So that Gemini's polarity breaks open old narratives, allowing the Arcturian Starseeds to see the truth of their mission, their lies that they're outgrown. This is a season where the lies are very heavily being told. And so this is a season of realizing that you've outgrown these lies, that you no longer need these lies to help explain the world, right? You don't need to believe a false narrative. You are in the place and time where you can start to adopt the truth as you know it, all right? The systems that are meant to lead or rebuild. You have a purpose here, and that's the Arcturian energy. Your communication abilities also amplified. See, Geminis are great communicators. So as Arcturian energy, you're going to be able to communicate more effectively during this transit. Arcturians may find themselves articulating spiritual concepts with precision, channeling higher knowledge, and teaching without effort. All right? What you're sharing is going to come very easy during this period. Solving problems instantly. This is a teaching moon. This Gemini in transit, all right, is a teaching moon for Arcturian's traits and characteristics. Call them to speak their wisdom, all right? So that's the Arcturian side of it. We always like to look at what other energies involved in the full moon in Gemini going through this transit. And so let's look at the tall whites. What I want to do is to share some traits about those tall whites before we get into discussion. And so I'll bring up this video really quickly about them.
Dive, your shortcut to being well informed. Today, we're immersing ourselves in a really fascinating stack of sources.
We are.
All exploring the metaphysical lore around the tall white starseeds. You might also know them as the Nordic light ones or the Pleiadian tall ones.
Right.
The core claim we've extracted is that these are souls said to be from these luminous high-frequency star systems who incarnate here with a kind of mandate.
A mission, really, to embody harmony, peace, and just an elevated vibration. They're described as energetic anchors.
And the timing is key, right? The sources are very specific about that.
Extremely. They say these souls specifically incarnate during transitional eras, periods of great global change when humanity is experiencing, maximum turbulence.
Because that's when a stabilizing influence is needed most.
Exactly. When chaos is highest, that's when they're said to arrive.
Okay, so let's dive into that. If they're starseeds, where are they supposedly seeded from? Is it just the Pleiades, or is the lore more varied?
The Pleiades star cluster is definitely the main reference point you'll find.
That's the one everyone knows.
It is, but the sources are broader. They also mention origins in the Orion light realms, Lyrian offshoot worlds, and even some advanced worlds in what to go the Palladian belt.
And what's the common thread between those places?
What's consistent is that in their home societies, they're revered as peacekeepers, healers, guardians of cosmic harmony. Their entire cultures are defined by high emotional intelligence.
Here's where I get really curious. If they are incarnated as humans, how are they supposedly identified? Are there physical markers?
The descriptions are surprisingly specific.
Okay.
Physically, they often present with a very tall stature, or at least a sense of elongation. Their hair is repeatedly cited as white blonde, platinum, or kind of ash color.
And their skin.
It can range from strikingly fair to a natural golden warmth. And the eyes, they're often described as light blue, ice gray, or even, and this word comes up a lot, luminescent.
Wow. Luminescent. So how far beyond the physical do the sources go? Is there an energetic signature to look for?
Absolutely. Beyond just an ageless or symmetrical appearance, they're said to have a palpable energetic signature.
Something you can feel.
Yes, a luminous or glowing aura that people often feel before they consciously notice anything else. This light, according to the lore, represents a form that's been purified by a higher frequency.
That sounds like it would require intense emotional work. If we look at their inner state, what kind of emotional signature defines their presence?
It's a paradox, really. Intense sensitivity coupled with this profound inner calm.
So they feel things deeply but don't get thrown off balance.
Right. They abhor conflict, yet they are extremely wise, deeply benevolent, and often have this surprising, almost childlike playfulness. They naturally harmonize their environment.
So what's the practical application of all that? What is their core mission here on Earth?
Well, their mission is outlined as 4 key pillars, all aimed at elevating the planetary vibration. The first 2 are pretty straightforward.
Which are?
Peacemaking, which is about dissolving conflict and stabilizing chaotic environments, and ecological guardianship. They're apparently highly drawn to sustainability and Earth restoration.
That makes perfect sense. Applying that gentle power to the planet itself. What about how they interact with people?
That's where the other 2 pillars come in. One is emotional evolution, teaching patience, compassion, and emotional responsibility to those around them.
And how do they teach that?
Through soft leadership. They lead purely by example, by influence and grace, never through force or, aggressive authority. They are the gentle guides.
I love that phrase, soft leadership. It really explains the nights we found about their social presence being so magnetic.
It does. They draw strangers to their calming energy, and they always seek out these deep, uplifting conversations. They're like natural, energetic bridges between people.
And their inner gifts support this role.
Subtly, yes. We're talking about things like telepathic sensitivity, empathic perception, and what the sources call emotional alchemy.
Not like a big dramatic display.
No, not at all. It's the gentle ability to subtly transmute negative energy in a room, almost without anyone noticing.
Is there any symbolism associated with them?
There is actually. Just as a quick nugget, the tall white aster flower is consistently mentioned. It serves as a metaphor for purity, resilience, and guidance from higher realms. It's a striking image.
So, to summarize our deep dive, we're looking at these gentle, highly intuitive teachers who are here, according to the sources, to anchor calm during huge global upheaval.
People who resonate with this archetype often describe themselves as old souls with young hearts.
And how does this connect to the bigger picture?
Well, their sources describe their role during Earth's evolutionary shift as being essential emotional stabilizers. They're preparing the energetic ground for new generations being born with a more awakened consciousness. They're the constant in the storm.
A constant in the storm. I like that. So here's a final provocative thought for you. If these star seeds anchor calm and turbulence through nothing more than kindness and powerful intuition, what simple act of emotional stabilization could you bring to your own chaotic environment?
I trust.
All right. So if you want to learn more about the tall whites, you can check out the videos I've done on them, and also about the Arcturians. There are videos about those too. So you can check out those videos to learn more about the traits and characteristics of the tall whites. I am going to go into deeper explanation on tall whites, melanation. I said earlier that most starseeds are heavily melanated because that's how that energy is anchored for various reasons. The tall whites are an exception to that. They act as illuminated consciousness, much like the moon is a reflection of the sun. And so they appear to be very brightly illuminated and not what we would consider white in our racial thinking about it. But I am going to do a video on racism, what we maybe label as racism in the star seed understanding or ideology, It's not truly racism, but melanation does play a big part in that. And so you see a lot of my content is about melanation and how starseed consciousness actually anchors in melanated people because of various trauma, various past history that allows that energy to connect to this plane of existence, right? But we'll talk about that in other talks. But right now, I want to talk about the tall white starseeds in the full moon in Gemini and how that energy plays a bigger part in how you should maneuver and what it does to help you in your life journey, right? A lot of times we refer to tall white starseeds as that Palladian light aspect. And if you understand Palladian energy, we say Christ consciousness with more of Palladian energy, because Palladians have a certain trait and characteristic that is shown in the historical figure of Jesus Christ, right? But as we look at that energy, that full moon in Gemini and the tall white, we're looking at higher communication, that emotional softening, and that energetic radiance, right? If you are feeling this tall white energy, you're going to start to radiate this energetic aura around you that is going to be subtly perceived during this time, right, by other people. Tall whites communicate through their frequency, feels, and emotional resonancy more than words. The Gemini's full moon acts as a translator between their telepathic language and their human verbal system, all right? So what you say is going to be reflected in your actual thinking telepathically. During this lunacation, tall white starseeds experience openings in the throat chakras, and we haven't talked much about the chakras in our beings here and how they work, and we'll get into that in deeper discussion. I can't communicate everything I need to communicate just through these videos, right? So I am going to be offering more in-person classes and instruction. Sometimes I teach a little bit more on the Patreon, but to really get people to understand the importance of their starseed or the starseed traits and characteristics, and how the transit play a part in that, and what that means to your chakra system, and how that brings you back to oneness in your divine walk. It's all very interesting and intertwined. And so I'm just skimming the surface a lot of time, right? But, maybe it's not important to everyone. If it's important to you and you want to know more about it, put it in the comments. Give me a judge of how deep you guys want me to go with this, right? So as we look at this full moon in Gemini, and we're looking at the tall white energy, right? We're looking at the clear articulation of emotions, the gentler expression of truth, and the strong intuition, telepathy, communication that's going to be happening during this period. This increased radiant presence. We're going to keep coming back to that. This tall white energy, right, is about radiance, not about, too many times we rely on our eyes and not our third eye. We're not talking about melanation or lack of melanation. We're talking about tall whites are illuminated. They are a reflection, where most starseeds anchor in their melanation, which is important. I mean, I think like 90% of starseeds anchor in melanated people, right? Which is so strange that melanated people know very little about starseeds. They're always talking about their signs and their planetary signs, and I'm a Gemini and I'm this and that. That's good and fine. But we're talking about the melanation that is rooted in the starseed characteristics rooted in your melanation, which is important. All right. It's not about being racist. It's about understanding starseed characteristics and traits. And if we are here to raise the vibration of the planet, we talked about who would better suited for those that are downcast to raise the vibration. If you are already living your best life, right? How are you going to help others in their growth if you don't understand it? And so that's why a lot of starseed characteristics are rooted in melanated people. But we'll get into it, right? We're talking about that radiant presence that comes from the tall white that will be showing up during this transit of the full moon in Gemini. The resonance with music, poetry, and symbolic language is going to be playing a big part during this transit. Tall whites often struggle to communicate dense emotional content verbally because they're used to being talking intuitively or psychically, right? Let's say it like that. They're used to communicating psychically, all right, that they often struggle to communicate through dense emotional content verbally. But during this time, Gemini's full moon is going to soften this barrier, allowing them to express their needs, boundaries, desires, and insight and guidance more effectively during this period. This moon enhances their ability to serve as emotional harmonizers, helping others resolve conflicts. And this is the part where we get into how does these characters and traits help raise humanity's consciousness, right? We're looking at the tall white's energy during the full moon in Gemini, and you're going to be able to help resolve conflicts more effectively, speak honestly, find peace through clarity, and release that confusion or misunderstanding. This means that tall whites are more accessible. That energy is more accessible. Humans understand them more easily, and they understand humans more deeply. So as that characteristic plays a part in your life, you will understand the human condition better, right? And be able to aid other people during that journey as a starseed. That's why it's important to understand these starseeds' traits and characteristics, so you know how to use them in helping raising humanity's consciousness. So let's look at the end result and summarize everything that we are feeling at this point. Let me bring up the right screen. So, all right, as we summarize this, the essence of the full moon in Gemini, the tall whites, and Arcturian Starseed energy, we realize that you're going to uncover the full meaning behind your thoughts. You're going to have a clear understanding of the thoughts behind the meaning behind your thoughts that you've been having. The voice beneath the silence. A lot of times people are very silent. They really have a lot to say. The message beneath your intuition. And the clarity hidden in your confusion. During this time period, we're looking at revelation, communication, and mental liberation. That's what's happening during the full moon in Gemini. We have went over that tall white energy and our Arcturian Starseed energy during this transit. A lot of this energy is to help you through this life journey, to know how to maneuver in helping raise humanity's consciousness. If you're looking for your planetary sign on how you should move, then that's what your planetary sign is about. But if your mission and purpose is raising humanity's consciousness, we need to understand how these starseeds energies are affecting us during certain periods of time that we can help raise humanity's consciousness. And that is the meaning of the readings that I give, the transits that I share with the Conscious Collective. It is for those that understand that they are here with a purpose and a mission. As me being a Blu-ray starseed, I am to build community in my aid to help raise humanity's consciousness. Okay, to bring that oneness into actual form, right? So when we're looking at how different starseeds and characteristics and traits work, right, we use those to bridge as being the root source, to bridge these characteristics and traits to aid in raising humanity's consciousness, to aid in helping humanity move from 3D to 5D consciousness. So I hope something said resonated with you and aids you in your life journey. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We won't have another transit, I think, till the 10th, but I do put out other videos on the main channel, so please check them out. I want to wish everyone love and light in their journey.